Welcome back to the Cubicle Brief, where we bring you today's news from the workplace impacting how you get the job done tomorrow. Let's begin our 5-minute staff meeting. Vaccine mandates have been a major topic of discussion since September of last year among business leaders of every organization with 100 or more employees. Legal challenges, temporary stays, and questions as to whether businesses needed to continue preparations for full compliance with the OSHA Emergency Temporary Standard kept many in human resources and health and safety roles busy before the Supreme Court ruling. We all know what happened on January 13th. The U.S. Supreme Court, in a 6-3 decision, blocked the Biden administration's vaccine or test mandate for employers with 100 or more employees. So what happens now, and how did OSHA respond? NPR framed the story as pretty much a non-issue for white-collar employers, such as large financial institutions, one in particular being Citigroup. But what about the employers outside of the high-rises where large salaries and benefits thrive? Some in the media have tried to paint the issue of opposing vaccine mandates as an educated versus uneducated worker challenge. Their inference that the American worker can be categorized by two labels, white collar versus blue collar. But when you look at all the polling that is often cited, if 54% of the people polled agreed with vaccine mandates, 46% of the potential workforce disagreed with the mandates. Could you survive without 46% of your workforce? Could America survive without 46% of its labor participation? 30, 20, 10%. Remember that in spite of all the claims our current unemployment rate reflects an economy where jobs are being filled, data shows that there are still approximately 10 million jobs yet unfilled. So what are employers choosing to do, knowing that they can impose their own vaccine mandate outside of any OSHA standard? Starbucks announced this week that it would no longer mandate that its employees be vaccinated. That's a workforce of over 380,000. How important was it for Starbucks to pay attention to those polling numbers of those who disagreed? Back in December, GE and Boeing dropped their requirements. Carhartt, on the other hand, a company that produces clothing and accessories heavily marketed towards demographics such as construction, utility, farm, and ranch workers, has announced that they will maintain a vaccine mandate to protect their workers. There is already an outcry from customers who are opposed and an acknowledgement that some of their associates disagree with their position. Time will tell whether it will stand or not. Other employers, such as United Airlines, are holding fast to their requirement that employees be vaccinated or prove a religious or medical exemption. So where is the rest of the world? With Omicron beginning to fade, England is dropping all of its mandates and wants people back to work, even without masks. The head of immunology at Bar Ilan University in Israel, Dr. Sorel Cohen, who is also a member of the Advisory Committee for Vaccines for the Israeli government, stated this week that vaccine passports should be phased out and are no longer relevant in the Omicron era. He went on to say that widespread infection is now an inevitable part of future immunity and the pandemic has moved into the endemic phase. He still recognizes the value of vaccines, stating that they save lives, reduce severe cases, but are less effective against cases such as Omicron. As Omicron peaks and begins to fade, what can we expect from the Biden administration? On the same day the Supreme Court issued its decision to strike down the vaccine mandate, Secretary of Labor Marty Walsh issued a statement strongly disagreeing with the Supreme Court's decision and stating that OSHA's emergency temporary standard to be, quote, the best way to protect the nation's workforce from a deadly virus, end quote. Contrary to what the Supreme Court clearly defined as OSHA's authority, Secretary Walsh disagreed and stated that, quote, OSHA promulgated the ETS under clear authority established by Congress, end quote. So why should I, as an employer of any size workforce, care about what Secretary Walsh had to say? Well, listen carefully as he goes on to highlight the following, quoting his statement. OSHA will be evaluating all options to ensure workers are protected from this deadly virus. We urge all employers to require workers to get vaccinated or tested weekly. Employers are responsible for the safety of their workers on the job. Regardless of the ultimate outcome of these proceedings, the Supreme Court's decision, OSHA will do everything in its existing authority to hold businesses accountable for protecting workers, including under the COVID-19 National Emphasis Program and General Duty Clause, end quote. That is an easy to understand threat from the Secretary of Labor, and all employers, large and small, had better understand their obligations under the COVID-19 National Emphasis Program and the General Duty Clause, or OSHA will be after you. Other parts of the Western world may be moving on from the pandemic to the endemic nature of the virus, but it sounds like here in the U.S. we still have our work cut out for us, especially in the workplace. Next week's video will focus on those key elements of the COVID-19 National Emphasis Program and where you should be paying attention to avoid citations under the General Duty Clause when it comes to COVID-19 workplace protections. Links to the articles referenced are found in the description. Leave a comment and subscribe to catch today's latest news impacting the workplace tomorrow. Until next time, remember to look for the answers to your challenges among those who get the work done.